And welcome back to the Woodland Viper Airsoft channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing more of the ViperTech series, and we're going to be looking at a box we got today. So, first let's open it up and we'll get straight into it. So, this is a box from Guillotine Airsoft. We're going to be looking at the VFC knocker upgrade for the ViperTech. Also, because of that Discord, he sent me a loader for the ViperTech mag, as I said in the last video. I couldn't figure out how to load it. Apparently you need one of these. So, thank you Guillotine Airsoft for sending this free of charge. He didn't actually add anything, so thank you. And then we did the lighter hammer spring. I believe this is what we got. So, let's do a little talking first. So, previously I had said that I had a second ViperTech. Here it is. So this is the first ViperTech I purchased. Purchased it secondhand. It came with pretty much everything but the optic. Yeah, and then I painted it and did some custom stuff to it. It was already set up to take VFC mags, which is why I went the VFC route. With that, you have the filing work already done and the mag catch, and it looks like when I was taking it apart, I could be wrong, but it looks like he didn't file the mag catch like Explosive Enterprises shows how to do. I found out after already ordering everything and doing the work myself on the second ViperTech that Guillotine Airsoft sells a mag catch that's already been, you know, it's ready for VFC mags. So if you want to save yourself some work, I'll throw that up here and show you what I'm talking about. I would just get it, save you a lot of work, and it'll be more precise. But let's swap this out for our current ViperTech. So this is the ViperTech that was sent to me free of charge from ViperTech after they sponsored my channel. And as you can tell, I did paint it. I couldn't resist it. I wanted to. I did change the stock as well because I didn't like how bulky that stock was, and I want something more slim and tactical. I'll throw the stock type here in case you like this look more so than the really bulky stock. Typical just red dot from Novridge. I know a lot of you ViperTech people hate Novridge, but all my optics are pretty much Novridge. So I do want to say real quick, I am going to throw, I think, a Hydra mount on here with a PEC box and some sort of pressure switch setup, because I've always wanted to throw a Hydra mount on something, I just never have. So, we're going to talk about what I did to this. So, I did decide I want to go the VFC route. I asked in the Discord, you know, if I do the filing and all that, is it going to make it not work? Because a lot of them were saying I should try the GHK mag route, but I did some tests with my other ViperTech. Once I got the knocker installed, shoots flawlessly. I actually haven't had a single issue. It's perfect. So I'm going to test it, and you know, that's what this is all about, is testing it and making sure it's consistent and reliable and stable across the board, and it's the cheaper route. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you don't spend the money, you'll get cheaper results, but I think there's some people that just like their brands and maybe already had GHK stuff. I'm not sure, because I'm not seeing the evidence that it's this terrible idea. So what did I do to it? I did file the inside here, which I'm not sure if that camera will pick it up, but I filed the inside. Super easy to do. I'm going to show you what files I used. I started with a just standard steel file here, and I just kind of, I took off the whole upper, took out the mag catch here so that there wouldn't be anything to hit or to scrape or damage, and I just worked all four corners and then a little bit of the inner side of this wall right here. Once I did that, I did it really slowly. I did it exactly how the Explosive Enterprise video shows you how to do it. I recommend watching that video. I've tagged it in my last video. I'll tag it again right here. Watch it. Take your time. Do it slowly. I say slowly, but you can really kind of go hard for a while on it until you start to take off the anodizing, the black, and you should start to see the silver underneath. It took me about 2 hours really putting in the work. Now this file is really old and it's been through a lot, so maybe a newer file you might it might go by faster, but it's a lot of work. It's hard work, but once it fits, so here is the ViperTech mag, still fits. There's a little bit more wobble now compared to the original video where there was like no wobble, but that makes sense. I took away material, it's gonna wobble. I also have a VFC Stanag mag here, and this has no wobble. It now fits perfectly. Drop that out. And then I have the VFC V-Mag, I believe it is. No wobble, fits perfectly. So that's step one of the VFC conversion, was filing this inside. You'll also have to take out your mag catch, which involves pushing this in right here, and then once you've pushed that in, you'll have to use a tool typically, but you just pull this out and turn it until it comes off. There's a spring in there. You'll want to keep the spring and all the pieces together. It's 3 pieces total, and just set them to the side. Like I said, you can just buy the mag catch already done and ready. I would probably do that. It was kind of a difficult process. I first took a Dremel and kind of got myself a little bit of a notch, because the current mag catch, it's one flat solid piece. So if you can Dremel it down a little bit, then you can start working it with a file like this. I recommend some sort of square small file until you get it to the size you want. And the best way to do it, and it's painstaking, is file it a little bit, take your mag, he said you'll push it in like that, hit the button just so it comes up, and then you'll kind of just push lightly and it should, you know, click in like it did already. Mine's already done, so it's gonna work. But you'll have to do this a lot, where you'll have to take the mag out, take the whole mag catch apart, and then redo the whole thing over and over and over as you test your filing. So that's that. But what are we doing today is I'm gonna show how to install this knocker, because like I said, I bought one already. I put it on the other ViperTech over there. Shoots like a dream now. So we're gonna see if it stays consistent, and then I might show how to install this. I've never done this part, so might take a small intermission where I do some research and figure it out. But let's start with this. First things first, you're gonna have to pop out your pins. With my other ViperTech, you can kind of just push on them here and here with your fingers and they'll come out, but this one is so new, it's too stiff, so we're just gonna use a tool and pop them out. Like I said, it is extremely stiff at the moment because it's so new. There's not a lot of movement there. So now we have separated the upper, which we'll just set over there for now, and the base here. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is take out this mag catch. Like I said, I want to use a tool. You'll kind of push in like that, and then you'll turn it away from yourself until, there we go. So now it popped off, and our piece here kind of pushed into it, but you can kind of adjust that, and then there's your spring. So I recommend putting the spring back on, putting this together, kind of threading it once or twice, just so your pieces all stay together and you don't lose that spring. I don't know if you can really see it, but there is my filing of the original mag catch, and it wasn't that hard. It was just very time consuming and slow. So we're going to set that off to the side. The next thing you're going to want to do is, and this part I've noticed is quite difficult to usually do, is there is a pin that is there, and we're going to knock that pin out to take this off. Be careful when doing this. There's a spring right behind this nub here. It's a very long spring and it's very small and thin, and it tends to try to go flying out. So you want to put a little bit of pressure there so it doesn't just go shooting out. But let's try to get that out. I like to start with some sort of tool, and we'll take a tool. And there we go, we have it somewhat out. Now I just used a really long Allen key to do that. And then there's our pin. So we will put the pin to the side. Like I said, there's a spring you're going to want to watch out for. There's our big piece there. And if we take some tweezers, there's a little nub. And then there's the spring, if you can see that. So we'll set all those pieces off to the side. Make sure they stay together. And now we're getting closer to where we need to be. This is the hard part, and you want to be really careful with this because it's a very small Allen key down in there. I believe it's technically metric and it's like a 1.5 or something. I don't know. I'll put it like there real quick, the actual size that they recommend. And Guillotine Airsoft sells like a high tolerance Allen key that you can use in there. I didn't bother buying that because during my testing I found that the Allen key I actually just used to push the little pin out with is a 1/16 inch Allen key, fits perfectly. Now there is one pause moment here. They have put red screw glue Loctite on that screw in there, the grub screw. You'll need some sort of heating tool, like a they said like a heat gun. I was told a hair dryer will not work. I didn't bother to test because they said it won't work, and I didn't feel like, you know, risking it. So I got this thing. I will again throw a link there on Amazon. They're not that bad, and they come in a variety of colors if you want to be picky here. But we're going to turn it on, heat it up, and then we will use the 1/16 Allen key to remove it. And just for proof of the Allen key, this is just the Amazon Basics Allen key set, and it's the 1/16 one that's missing. So just to prove I'm not like making up Allen key sizes or something. So let's heat it up. So I typically will leave my thumb kind of on this metal plate here to feel when it starts to get hot, to know when it's probably been enough. And we use the heat gun to soften up that screw glue. That's what we're doing. And then there we are, right here. And this we do not want to lose, so we're going to set it to the side there with the Allen key. And now we're going to pop up this unit here. I recommend using some sort of flathead screwdriver, and there's like a, try to get in there, there's a notch right about there that you can wedge it in and then kind of lever it up. And now we're done with the base here. We can set it off to the side. And this is the unit we've been trying to get to this whole time. Super hidden down in there, very hard to get to, but now we're here. And now you can take out your flathead and you can use an Allen key size here. I don't know the exact size. And you can unthread this little screw that's holding the unit together. And there we are. We'll set that off over here for a minute. Do not forget to put that back. I forgot multiple times, well, one time, when putting the other one together, and I got it all back together, and I was like, oh crap, I have to go get that out. So now you have this bit, and we're going to show you how to take it apart and put the new knocker in. It should kind of pry apart here. Once we've got it apart, we can take the old one. It should have these little washer spacers on it and a spring, and we can just put it to the side. I'm gonna put it in the bag that the new one came in, just to kind of hold on to, as you know, in case this doesn't work and I want to change back, I have all my parts. So you'll take out your new one, put the old one in there so you don't lose anything. Make sure it has both its washers and the spring. Set that off to the side. I had previously never set up a spring like this before, so I'm gonna try to really show how to do that. So to set up the spring, you're gonna kind of push it through like this, where your the box bit needs to be kind of coming from the bottom over. So it should kind of look like this. So you have your two antenna looking bits of the spring up, and then it's coming from underneath. Here, let me detail it. Your box spring is clipped over that notch, and your two antennas are above, and then you'll bend them up and over and down. It has kind of a catch to help hold your springs down, so now it should act like a spring. And then it has these two washers, which we'll point out here and here. You're going to take those washers, place them on both sides. So now we've got both washers on. You're going to take your unit, starting with the one that has the longer side where the grub screw went into and all that, and you're going to line up this nub with this groove and put it in. The key thing here is you don't want to make the mistake of where you put it back together and your springs aren't set right. You want to catch them under this front bit here so there's tension. And make sure it's down on this black surface. You'll then take your other piece while holding everything together here, making sure your spring doesn't pop up like mine just did. Hold your spring in place. It should clip together, and a good way to test before you put everything back together to make sure it's working is normally when you push on this, it should kind of slide back like it is right there. I think it just needs worked a little bit, because sometimes when I push it too far it's like catching, but now it seems to be moving fine, but with a little bit of, it should just kind of go back and forth. It looks like maybe it just needs worn in. I think why it worked so well with my other ViperTech is that one had a lot of use, so the original one had already been doing a lot of this work, so it probably added a little bit of extra tolerance. As you know, ViperTech stuff has really high tolerances, so it doesn't have much wiggle room for mistakes or things like that. But like I said, your spring should be here on the back of this to kick off, and then it should come back. So it looks like it's doing it well enough. So we're going to put it all back together. So you'll take this, drop this back in, and make sure you put that screw that tightened this unit back together in there too. I'd already done that. There we are. We have that 1/16. Just because the original had a little bit of screw glue, we're going to use blue screw glue, which is a little not as strong, and just kind of be very delicate, not a lot. Put that down in that hole. I would do just snug so that, you know, if you need to take it off you can. It should be fine. Next we're going to put this guy back in. So should sit down like that. But first you'll want to take that very tiny spring, drop it down in there. This little guy will go back on top. And then you'll kind of have to hold it while you get this. Line it up. Then you have that pin that we took out. So, should go back in. Then we're going to put this back in. So, like before we threaded it, should fit in on that side. I like the spring should drop in on this side. You'll put it back in on top. Turn it towards yourself. Start screwing it in. Then typically you'll need a tool once you've threaded it a little bit to push it further out to clear that mag. And it should lock back in. I typically like the bolt to be about flush with that. So now we have that all taken care of. And we can put the upper back on. And there we go. And it's all back in. So that's a little bit of the installation. Like I said, I saw significant improvement with magazine reliability and feeding with the VFC mags. So if you're thinking about going the VFC mag route and you've been told, you know, it won't work or you're having issues with it, I'm seeing pretty consistent, you know, feedback and responses with the VFC mags once you've done this upgrade. I did talk about in the other video that I was talking about putting a hole in the bottom to adjust the hop up. It's super narrow and I'm not sure if it'll really be enough. I'm not really sure this handguard is perfect for that, so it wasn't probably the best choice. But I don't know. We'll probably just wait for the Guillotine Airsoft upgrade for the hop up unit. But yeah, I highly recommend the knocker change, and it seems to do great with the VFC mags. So this was just an installation and update with the ViperTech. I'm going to do gameplay with it on November 2nd, I think is the plan. It is starting to get colder, which makes it not the most ideal to do something like this right now. But we're going to try it. We'll see how we do. And I'll keep you all updated. So that's how to install the knocker. I know there is a video. I think I might have already used it earlier in this video, but if not, I'll throw it here. From, I believe, ViperTech, but it has no audio and it doesn't quite go through the whole process. It just shows how to get that little, into that little chamber that holds the knocker, but it doesn't really show how to take it apart or, you know, replace it because, you know, it's their product. I don't think they're intending on replacing it. But if you're going to use VFC mags, it's an absolute must, I believe. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna test it with some gameplay, make sure it stays true, and work with it, and we'll put this spring in, I think, but I'm gonna have to watch a video or two and see how to do that. So, looks like to put this in here, we're gonna have to take out this pin right here. So, and once we have this out, going to replace it with the other spring that we just got. The old spring to the side here. Looks like we just place it like that. Back in. There we go, and it still functions. And then you just put the upper back on. I did this video because I wanted to do an update, explain why I'm choosing the VFC route and how to install it, because I don't see a video readily available out there on how to install the knocker. So, hope you liked the video. Tell me what you think of the paint job, the style, if there's any attachments, accessories that you want to see me use, or anything you all want to see me do with this thing that you have questions about, and I'll do the groundwork. I'm going to do the research and see what we can do to find some answers. So I hope you liked the video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. It's more of a tech tutorial video. And until next time, stay awesome. I hope to see you on my field.